Hi everybody, it's Curtis from Omaha Knife, and we've got a shipment in from Gransfors that we want to show you. Now, amazingly, this came on a pallet. We've not gotten this much Gransfors at a single time at all this year. The axe wall has looked pathetic for a while, so we feel really fortunate to have this group, and we're going to open it and let you look at the stuff as we go. We've done a couple videos like this before, and we get a lot of positive comments on them, so we're going to do it. Now, before we jump into that, remind you we're in Omaha, Nebraska. If you're coming through this area, it's not far off the interstate for you to come and see us, and we would like to have you do that. And be sure and tell us you're from out of town. Of course, you can check us out on Instagram, Omaha Knife, and Facebook, Omaha Knife, and obviously here on YouTube on Omaha Knife. We're going to try to make this video short, so I'm going to jump right in. Did I miss something while you're looking at me?
OmahaKnife.com.
Did I not say that?
No.
Oh, yes, and OmahaKnife.com is our website. Okay, I was trying to hurry and made it take longer. So let's dive in. I'll narrate a few things as we go. Oh, so we got some of the Gransfors boxes. A lot of times when it comes in, we don't get enough of any one model to get these. They're all repacked. So we like getting these boxes. We don't throw them away. We hold on to them for people that want them because they are pretty cool. So this is an original pack. I think this is going to be splitting Maul. Yep, splitting Maul. So this is how they pack them in Sweden. And I'm going to show you, sometimes there's marks from how they're packed. I'm going to show you something. Well, this one's on top. We'll just pretend that there's another one on top. This spot right here, sometimes they get a little bit pinched there or there. And sometimes people are offended by that, but it really is what happens because of how they're packed. It's not that common, but it does happen. So we'll just kind of run through these real quick. Let's show how nice that is. A fairly new maker, so he's got nice new tools. YT. We don't know who he is. I'm not one that gets caught up in the personalities in this business, whether it's the blacksmiths or the owners of the knife companies or whatever. I don't get that caught up in it, so I don't research them. Kind of a cool looking handle on this one. And probably everything in here will be Mr. YT, because, you know, his stuff just going into a box, one after another after another. We'll just look at the cool wood grain in the handles.
Oh, it's darker.
Yeah, darker on that side. Cool look. So that's a cool looking one. Some people won't like this. They don't like light and dark on the same thing. I think that one's cool. Now, of course, when you order, you can request appearance things. You can't necessarily get everything you want appearance-wise, but you can request and we'll do the best we can. Nice looking dark wood on that side. Oh, dark all the way around. So on these dark wood, we've mentioned this in other videos, when they're nice and dark like that, some people don't like dark, some people love dark. So the dark wood we set aside for people who want it, because there just are not that many. Now, here I got it. This one, pretty nice contrast in the grain. This is a cool looking one. This one, we'll kind of set aside and see if somebody in the video, we'll set it aside and sell it last. See if somebody wants it with those really straight lines. Really straight lines across the end. So somebody's probably looking for something like this. So now this video will be up for years. You know, so what's today's date? I don't know, the 1st of May, right?
It's not May yet.
Getting close to May 1 in 2021. So, you know, I'll just show this real quick, like a couple boxes of the sharpening stones. So, what is it, 5 per pack. So that's how we get those. Set that aside. And all right, so this is a repack, obviously. So some replacement handles.
That's cool.
So this one, if you look close, you can tell it's been on before. Some people, well, I wonder why. Why is it taken back off? I assume some QC rejection of the head. Nobody told me that, I'm just guessing. But some people don't want a handle that's been used. It's actually better because it goes on easier, especially with this metal collar that has to be squished a little bit and you don't have to pound as much. So I put those on and I like putting them on. So this one, it's maybe been on before. There's some marks, but I can't see through the metal. But anyway, I'm supposed to keep going on this. So, all right, Swedish Carving Axe. EE is the maker here. That side's the cool looking side. That side's okay. Now, on the carving axe, see if you can zoom in and kind of show the texture. I think we've talked about that in some other videos. But to be grippy, you know, because you're holding it in one spot. The splitting stuff, oh, in the video where we show all the different models, we talked about that. More Swedish carving axes. The splitting stuff has that rough on it. Hunter's axe has the rough. Hand hatchet has the rough. Now on the splitting stuff, it just comes up a little ways, not all the way up like on carving. And okay, so the big broad axe, JB. I don't know, it's probably just how the light hits it with the little...
It almost looks Damascus.
Yeah, it's not Damascus, so if you're looking at that thinking Damascus, it's just cool looking. So I don't know, I would guess forged slag in the dies, kind of press that pattern in, but that's pretty cool looking. A small splitting axe. Do we know TP? I don't remember seeing TP, so get a shot of that. So I'm speculating here, nobody told me this, but they may have opened some new lines and have some new guys making. Now to that subject, the subject of new guys making, it's not like they put an ad in the newspaper saying manufacturing jobs apply here. Anybody who works there is super talented and really has to prove themselves before they can work there. It's a coveted job and not just any old schmuck can get it. I want to point something out here, and we'll do a separate video on some of these details. See how that's not perfectly flat? Some people don't like that, but Gransfors doesn't care. It's not meant to be pounded. If it winds up that way, it winds up that way. And, you know, same with some of these other inconsistencies. But we'll make a video on what's a reasonable expectation. So this one, same guy. It looks a little smoother through there, but the back is has that same uneven. And again, does not matter, but some people see it and don't like it. You know, some people, they go to the hardware store and look at the ones that are ground on a mill, and all the sides are parallel and square and all that, and they think that this is inferior. And it's like, well, if you want parallel sides in something with a, you know, piece of crap steel, well, I mean, that's what they are. They don't stay sharp. They don't cut well. The geometry is just random. But if you want parallel sides, great, go to the hardware store. But the people watching this video don't want that. I'm just kind of mocking some people that have complained about petty stuff. But they're an absolute minority of our customers. But it does happen. And we're usually polite to them, even when they complain about silly things. And how many of these boxes did we start with? We've opened a couple.
2.
And so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes. That's a good haul. All right, so more Mauls. Or no, these are large splitting, large and long, not Mauls. So they're not ground on the pole side. So it's the same handle as the Maul, just a little bit lighter head.
EW?
EW. Who did we have on the Mauls?
YT.
YT and EW. Yeah, so they definitely have to have new lines open to get us a nice supply like this with initials we don't recognize and nice new tool marks. And we'll have to watch and see if there's one of those mushed.
That's kind of
pressed a little bit there. So just proof to people who think that we sent them something used. You know, when you sell as much of this stuff, YT, so this is mixed, a Maul. When you sell as much stuff as we do, you're going to run across people who have let their imagination paint a picture that's not correct. So this is a nice darker wood. Just nice looking. Now, one thing, I probably said this in other videos, I know I've told a lot of customers this. One thing about looking at the wood and picking the most beautiful one, which is what I did on my Maul, then you get home and you're afraid to use it because you don't want to screw up your perfect looking wood. So then you've got the Maul you use and the Maul that you show to your friends. So there is a downside to great looks. All right, so this is a repack. Didn't come from Sweden this way. So small forest axe. People like the straight front to back. Now that's an exaggerated detail of how important it is for the sturdiness of the handle, but it looks good, so I like it. BE.
Another new one.
Maybe we'll have to learn about these guys, maybe do a video about the new guys. EE's been around, and that's a Carpenter's. Nice looking Carpenter's with Mr. EE. This is a splitting wedge. I won't bother to open it.
Hey, put your trash over there.
out of the picture. All right, so BK has been around, Scandinavian forest axe. And we see him a lot on Scandinavian forest axes. A little darker on that side, fairly straight, good looking axe. Small forest, BE. Nicely. Now, a lot of people like them really white looking like that. I don't know why. Well, I mean, you like anything, I guess, because they like white. I like contrast. I like to really see grain, but some people love a clean look. So somebody's going to love that. Of course, everybody better love everything. Ooh, now see, cool. This appeals to me. That's the kind of axe that I love.
It even frames around the stamp.
Yeah. So, and BE on this one. So that one's super cool. Set that one in the office, or set it aside and we'll put it in the office. Do some other pictures with it or something. Yeah, take pictures and put it on our website and pretend that all of them look that good. No, if you do that, then people, on our website, we have to not get too great a looking ones, because then that's what people want their axe to be like. And then they get one that's not cool like that and they're unhappy. So we definitely don't want to do that. So this one's nice, clean lines. So that one's pretty cool on that side. I don't know how the cross lines, how well they show up. That's kind of cool. This side's darker, not the same. I mean, it's cool, but different, not the same look. I don't know what that dirt or whatever is. Yeah, I see stuff like that sometimes. So still BK on the Scandinavian. Nice looking. And this down, so darker wood has, kind of grain like that. I really like how that looks. And that's like that small forest too, but I like really dark grain sometimes. Sometimes, so far we don't have any that are super dark. I call it chocolatey dark. Now, you may be wondering if I've got a collection of Gransfors at home that are all the coolest looking handles, and the answer is no. I would like to, believe me, I've been tempted.
Do you have a collection of handles?
I do have a collection of handles. When I see a handle, because I've got a lot of axe heads, and maybe we'll do a video with some of my axe heads. But, when I see cool handles, it's like, oh, I'm going to keep that and use it. So here's a nice looking one.
So, Curtis, people sometimes get concerned about this.
Oh, yes, that's a good example. So in the video, and I think we're going to call the video, something like Things to Hate About Gransfors or something. Well, I mean, so people will click on it. I hate videos that overstate the title, but we need something. Yeah, well, we need some clickbait. So that, now I don't especially love that. It's dented in. Right, yeah, you're catching it pretty good. I assume it's not dented on the inside, or there would be problems putting the handle in, and they would have recycled the steel. So, but some people really hate stuff like that. And some people are really going to hate that. So, and then the dent on that side. So this one just got.
If you want an axe to hate, we have this one. It's pretty on the handle.
Yeah, great looking handle and great looking initials. So, tool hit a little harder there, or an extra strike or something. Nothing wrong with the axe.
But Gransfors is okay with that.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, when people will expect that an axe is not going to work right because of stuff like that. And when you think about it intellectually, down here, the cutting edge matters, and the rest is just weight, to go in behind it. So having a little bit of a dent, or whatever you want to call it there, has no bearing on it unless the dent went so far in that it affected the handle. But if it affected the handle, they would have recycled it and started over. The guys at Gransfors, again, are truly experts at what they do. MB, different maker in this one, and this is a mixed box, right?
Yep,
yeah, it's a mixed box. So yeah, kind of cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to go faster? Am I?
We're at 5:15.
A little bit.
I
Okay,
think we're
all right. Now, it's not uncommon for them to come in unsnapped, but it's always on. People have a tendency to just kind of jam it on. If you just push it on like that, the blade's going to come out up here. We've got several that people have done that in our showroom, and we have to put a new sheath on it. So we have a bunch of them around with that cut on the top. But when you get a new one, the way to do it, hook the toe or the bottom, in there, pinch it, pull up, and then rotate it so you don't cut that.
That's cool.
It's cool. Myself, I don't like a lot of darker, although I've got one at home with a lot of, it's another brand, a lot of dark lines like that somebody sent back because they hated it. And I knew other people would hate it, and I took it home. I sanded it, oiled it, so it looks really cool. And the one I just made reference to, I'll bring in sometime. Oh, see, stuff like that really happens. We're not sending seconds, or there's been, I don't know, in like forever, maybe 5 people who accused us of sending them a second. There's no such thing as seconds. In the US, they do give out some seconds on factory tours because we asked.
That's a different maker. Those two are
Oh, yeah.
CS.
Yeah, CS and MB, they've been making for a while. So this handle's pretty cool. On that side, another MB. So yeah, BE is just pounding them a little bit harder. Has that dent there. But again, so the blacksmith does QC. I don't know how many QC steps there are. But there's another dude that does QC before it's ever put on a handle. He holds it with tongs, puts it on an anvil, and smacks it with a hammer. And what he's doing, and they're smacking it especially down here, could be anywhere, but here's where they're most concerned about because it's heat treated. What happens if they work it with the temperature dropping too much? It puts fractures in it. So they pound the crap out of those on the anvil to make sure there's no microfracturing. If it breaks, it gets thrown in the recycle bin. Now, occasionally, one will get out that breaks later. I saw a YouTube video of a wildlife hatchet that got out. And of course, they just gave the guy a new one. I don't know the guy. He didn't get it from here. I don't know if he's even in the US. I just know they gave him a new one because that's what they do. That was pretty cool.
It's funky. Ombre.
Ombre. Reverse ombre.
BE, still doing that. Maybe we all should send him email and ask him to not do that because we know better than Gransfors how they should make an axe. Now, we do say some stuff like that when people call and have all this over-the-top stuff. We don't say it to them. We get off the phone and go, this guy should work at Gransfors. He knows everything about axes. And more of those dents. So, yeah, it's interesting the way Mr. BE hammers them down harder. right, so this looks more like an original pack. So Scandinavian forest axes, and you see how they're laid in. So, you know, it is possible on the heavier heads, I don't remember ever seeing it here, to have some mush on the sheaths, you know, a little bit of the tab there, but let's get to unpacking. By the way, when we ship these, we virtually never look at the cutting edge. We got one back recently, and I believe the customer, because it doesn't happen very often, had a nick in it, like it had been dropped on concrete. We believe the customer because, you know, maybe the customer dropped it, but we choose to believe it. Oh, here's a nicer, but we don't look. So if you get something with a problem on the edge, don't be mad at us, and don't even be mad. Well, I mean, it's a very low percentage. So looking at this one, that's oil or something. See, that came off. And people talk about that. They think that's filler. It's the wedge is put in with a press, and it just kind of mushes that wood. But we'll do, within the next couple days, we'll pick a bunch of these that have some example things like that and do a video. Here, so this, here, I want to show something real quick. Like, so the dark lines, and again, some people hate those. They think it's a flaw.
Like the handle's gonna break?
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's gonna fracture there. So see how deep those go. But this darker wood, explained to me by an arborist who's not just a tree cutter guy, but a tree, I mean, really super into tree. I won't go into his whole resume, but a tree nut. He said it's most likely stronger. Something happened to the tree when it was alive, and the tree put extra resources. So it's going to be more resistant to rot and presumably stronger in those dark spots. So that's a cool looking one. Hi, puppy. Izzy's the official greeter here at the store. I think a lot of you already know that.
I'm trying to get to me. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
She's been coming here since she was 8 weeks old, and she's
outfit.
7 now, so she doesn't jump
She's
on
gotta help.
on people quite as much as
Being
she
an
used to.
assistant, you gotta wait.
But when Izzy gets interested or bored or whatever, she'll just come in the middle of whatever's going on.
My best friend.
Oh, puppy.
Really?
Oh, now she's laying on the axes.
My girl. My silly girl.
So on these, I haven't seen any really wow handles in this box.
I cannot pet your belly right now.
This one's getting, maybe one of the first ones. This one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll go for this one. Cooler looking one.
That is cool.
Fairly straight on the, and those that are cool looking on the side are almost always straight on the end. Now this one, you can tell it's not gonna be perfectly straight because the center's over here, and you know, it's rolled that way a little bit. Sometimes the grain twists a little bit, so and so it'll be really straight here and not as straight at the other end. But usually they're the way the wood is graded in an axe handle, usually the tilt or angle or whatever there is matched all the way through. So here's a nice dark one.
It's pretty.
So like I said about the other, this one will get set aside for somebody who wants a dark handle. And just kind of ho-hum on that one. This one weighs less, must have some handles in it. We'll go through these handles real quick like. So Scandinavian forest, great dark wood there. Great looker there. Two-tone I don't like as much, some people do.
Wow, they sent us a lot.
They did. And a great
Cool
selection.
looking Maul handle. So this one, it's not going to be as straight on the end, but that's
Look
cool
at that.
looking. So see, more tilted.
It's like water.
So if it were straighter, that would be more on the side and would be super looking. Same thing with this one. It's rotated. Bigger grain lines give, you know, cool looking grain on the side. That one's pretty cool. Small forest. So that's going to be straight because, you know, our stuff is flat there. So, and that one's cool. We'll set the rest of this box aside and sort them later to save a couple minutes on the video.
Excuse us, AJ. Excuse us.
Nobody's got that. Puppy.
Poor puppy.
All right. So
Stop throwing your trash on the stove.
I have people that will clean up after me just like at home.
Want to bet?
So these handles usually don't look as good for a couple reasons. One, they're short, not as much to work with, and the grain doesn't pop as much with the textured finish. So you just don't get the wow look off these hand hatchets. So this is straight grain, and on a longer handle, smoother handle, you know, it would look pretty good.
It's two-toner.
So wildlife hatchet, and we've been in desperate need. Well, we've been in desperate need of most of these. Wildlife hatchets have been out for a while.
Here, you can hand them to me.
Okay.
That's darker.
So ES, a long time maker.
Oh, that one's different.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool. And kind of so this one is super cool.
So that's straight.
Yeah, it's
Straight
got to be
grain.
pretty straight. Not exactly straight, but pretty straight. And this is one that we can set aside and hold back a little bit. See if somebody who sees the video asks for it before we run out. Replacement handle for hand. Oh, so this one really shows that contour. You know, the texture that they put in. So hand hatchet is meant to be used a lot like this. So there's a swell there. May make more sense if it had a head on it, but a lot of push cutting and stuff like that. And a little bit of handle for if you do need to chop. All right, so large splitting axe. EW. So we do also stock the replacement sheaths, and as I mentioned, some of them get used here from shipping damage and so forth. So you can see a little bit of a mark on that one where stuff was pressing on it, and that's just a blemish in the leather. Nothing happened there. Put that back in. Slide this whole box aside so that one's.
That's the puppy.
Yeah, and one box left to go. So that one's pretty cool. Small forest axe, BE.
That's pretty.
Dark on that side. MB. Now, we're kind of laying these out to give you a shot of them in the end. So Jax is picking stuff up as I throw it aside. So I love that look. Now I can tell by the end it's not that way on both sides, but you know, nice dark. So some people like this because they get both, but it's not, you know, what do I want to say? It's not on the same side. It's not distracting. You have a light side and a dark side. So, you know, somebody's really going to like that. And I think we'll probably set that one aside for somebody who wants exactly that. Instead of, so when something is cool in a way that not a lot of people like, we want to set it aside because some people are going to get that and go, oh, it's two-tone. I don't like it. And I generally don't like two-tone, but I do like that one. The two-tone I don't like is when the line's down in the handle, it just breaks up the continuity. And I don't like the fine grain lines like that. You know, my personal preference. Now also, you know, this grain, So the grain lines are fine, but it's at that angle, so it just isn't wow looking. And I like wow looking. It's just as good for a tool, it just doesn't look as cool.
That's cool.
Let's slide this box down.
There you go.
Kind of extend our small forest axe row. So that's the kind of two-tone. It's not a lot of contrast, but that's kind of two-tone that I don't like. I like a consistent cool look. Or a consistent look, I guess. I like contrast, but it has to flow, I guess. Puppy. So that one's cool.
That's neat. So no real chocolate.
No real
Small
chocolate.
forest.
Well, there's another layer, but there's some cool ones there. So,
I'm happy with what we got.
Yeah.
so little two-tony on that one. That wouldn't bother me on the edge. See, that's cool. If this whole handle looked like that, I would love it. And that's fine.
You just pick your mood that day.
Right. Yeah, like
You're in a dark
shoes.
mood or you in a light mood?
Like shoes, have a whole bunch of different ones.
Exactly.
Well, it's hard to not do that when you look at this stuff.
Accessories.
So we know this grain's a little off center because, you know, there rather than there. And yes. No chocolatey ones. So, so that spot right there, I mean, that's really, you know, if you could get dark wood and dark like that, those are really cool. But you get a whole lot of axes before you get one that's like that, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, so Izzy's...
If it's damaged by Izzy, that's too bad.
Oh, and then see the stacking marks there.
Yeah, you're in there.
All right, so that's a nice smooth. Somebody who wants smooth and CS. I don't think we've seen his stuff in this. Maybe we did. But that is a nice, beautiful, smooth handle. Pretty straight, wider grain. Now, is wide grain better than narrow grain? No, it's not. Neither is better. This is fairly wide. I heard, well, I didn't hear, it was by email. A dude said that he didn't want a pithy, P-I-T-H-Y handle. And wood doesn't have pith. Pith is like if you get a big radish and the inside is soft and like kind of air gaps and stuff, and weeds are pithy in the middle. It's like, no, it just sucked up a lot of water that year, grew a lot. You know, maybe, you know, a younger tree, you know, lower on a younger tree, I don't know, but it grew a lot. That's all, each year. Well, and see that, let's find, maybe this is a subject for another, there we go. So, this tree didn't grow a lot each year, right? Each line represents a year. This tree grew a lot in that many years, 10 or less. And so, some people believe, well, and it probably is harder with more grain lines, but is harder better or is softer better? Soft is going to have some give, hard, so which is better? I don't know. Neither, really. I mean, they're just different. Which is better, blue or red? So, all right, we got everything. So I'll let Ann kind of pass it around the room.
What if they want a special one? What should they do?
Call right away if there's something here and it's anywhere near the date of this video going up. If the video's been up a month, you're probably out of luck. But less than a month, call and tell us. You can even pause the video and take a picture of it and say, can you find me this one? And we'll try. So you can also, you know, send us a picture in the future and say, I love how this one looks. Do you have anything like this? And we'll try.
Or we do have a comments box at checkout.
Oh, yes.
Online.
Yeah, so when you're paying, it's like clear at the end still, right?
Yep.
we just freshened up our website and it works a whole lot better. So at the end, there's a place for comments. We read those. Anything you want, put in there and it'll get read. Now, one thing I'll add on that, if you say, I want perfect this, perfect that, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to get perfect everything. Tell us everything you like in the order you like them, and we'll do the best we can for you. You know, every now and then somebody sends one back and says, I just don't like it well enough. And, you know, that's okay. But we're going to do the best we can for you so that you're not unhappy with it. So I think we've seen everything. We'll do the wrap up. We are going to try to do more videos in the future, more educational stuff, and maybe a little bit of entertaining stuff. So keep, you know, follow us here, whatever, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And again, our website is omahaknife.com. And if you're coming through Omaha, come and see us. If you're coming through Omaha outside our normal business hours, check with us because if we can, we'll even meet you here after hours so you can check stuff out. That's going to wrap it up for this video, and we will see you again soon.